Well, hi folks, it's the fall of the year, and of course one of the things that usually we're doing in the fall is getting firewood in to get through the winter. I try to get as much done as I can in late winter, early spring, before all the leaves and the plants get green in the woods and the bugs come out and so on. But I didn't get it quite as much done as I wanted this year, so I'm hustling now. I've got to put quite a bit more away so I can get through the winter. But I've had an ace in the hole that I knew I would have, so I wasn't too worried about it. And that is, we have a ton of dead ash trees on our property. Unfortunately, there is a plague hitting northern ash trees in our part of the country. It's kind of a bug or a worm or something. It's called an emerald ash borer, and it destroys the trees. If you look here on this piece, you can see the worm trails or bug trails, whatever they are. This is underneath where the bark would be. This bark has already gone off of that, but that's what the trees look like. So these trees have died. They've been dead for a couple of years now, but they were still standing, so the wood isn't rotted. I mean, there's a little bit of rot starting, but most of it's pretty good. And this was a huge tree, as you can see here by, I'll put my hand here to give you a perspective. I mean, this is a big tree, and it wasn't fun trying to get these in the back of the truck, let me tell you, especially with no lifts or anything like that, but I managed to get them here. The bigger ones, I'm going to have to tip the splitter and split them on the ground at least in half. I'm not going to be able to pick them back up. I'm going to tip them out of the back of the truck and roll them over. Have the splitter here on the tow hitch of the truck, and I'll show you that. I know I've done videos in the past about splitting wood, but I haven't done them in a few years, and I haven't shown you the log cradle in action. I did do a video on it when I had gotten it, but I didn't show you it in action. So we'll just do a little bit of that for you tonight. Remember, this splitter, as I said, this can tip vertically too, so that the plunger here will go straight down. The ram here will go straight down, and then you don't have to lift the wood up into the air to set it in the runway here, the trackway here, and you'll see that when I'm splitting. I know you've probably seen it before, but I just wanted to show you this again. This is part of our fall activities here on the farm. The woodshed is getting full, as you can see. I did the upper branches of this, most of the upper branches of this ash tree earlier. That's what those white colored pieces of firewood are, and that other stuff was older stuff that I put in months ago. But I need to finish off that little bit of a row and then put a third row out along the edge, and then this will hold me for about 7 weeks, 8 weeks, depending on how cold the weather is. So we'll see whether I'm burning one stove or two. But the good thing with the ash that you can't do really with any other kind of firewood is it's pretty well dry to begin with. You don't have to try to season it for a long period of time. And this stuff, especially because it was dead but it was standing, so it wasn't on the ground where it would get wet. When the bark came off, that it didn't hold the moisture, and I've burned some of this already in the stove, and it burns very well. There's no problem with it. It doesn't smolder. There's no excess steam coming off of it or anything like happens when you try to burn firewood that's too wet. So it's ready to go. I don't have to worry about seasoning it. Now this stuff I'll put in here, and maybe I'll get into it sometime in December, because I have another place where I'm pulling firewood, older firewood off first, that we're into burning season now in the Northeast. So I'll come back to you when I have things set up. I can't really talk to you when the splitter's running because it's too loud, so that's why I'm filling you in advance. But let me also thank you in advance for liking and subscribing and supporting our channel. This is just another one of those tasks of living out in the country, but trying to do so on a shoestring. Thanks again for watching. There we go. So just a little sample there for you to look at. I don't know if you counted with me that huge slab that I did at the end. I got 28 pieces of firewood out of that one round. That's how big that tree was. Now, it's not that I'm Hercules, but it was dead ash. That's the only reason I could lift that. If that same size piece of wood was green oak, it'd weigh 3 to 4 times more than that, and there's no way I'd have picked it up. So I cheated a little bit with that. You also see with the ash how cleanly and easily it cleaves. There are very few knots in it, so there's nothing to bind the splitter. This splitter I got, I don't know, 6-7 years ago now, maybe longer, at Tractor Supply. It was, what's the brand again? I can't even remember. County Line. It was a Black Friday special, actually, I believe. And I got it a whole lot cheaper than normal. And it's a smaller one. It's only a 22 ton. But I've found for everything I've ever done, I've never had it bogged down that there was a piece of wood that was too tough. So, and I'm cutting, these are about 16-inch lengths for my stove. I have split longer ones before when I had a different kind of stove. And of course you could split shorter ones, so it does all that I need it to do. And that log cradle on the side, you saw how handy that was when I don't have to bend over every time or have pieces drop when I'm splitting the big pieces. It's excellent. I think, was that about $80 or something like that? That's something I just got more recently, as my video showed. So I just wanted to show you the part of the plan for heating this place in the winter. It's coming together. I've got the rest of this load to finish off. I probably won't get it all done tonight, but make a good dent in it, and we'll keep working until we have plenty of wood, no matter what may come this winter. Certainly I prefer oak, cherry, some of the heavier woods, even beech, for when it's really cold because it burns hotter and longer. But for the beginning of the burning season, or towards the end, like early spring, the ash is perfect. It burns well. It's not it doesn't burn real long or real hot, but it's adequate, and it fills the gap. I don't need to use the really good firewood when it's not as cold as, below zero outside. So it works very well for me, and I've got so much of it. I just want to keep harvesting it before the dead ones fall over and rot too much. So that's what we do. I always try to do the dead, diseased, or blowover trees if I can, rather than taking good, healthy ones. And on this place, there's always something like that, whether blowovers or what have you. I think I've shown you some of those in the past. But that's life out in the country, and that's being self-sufficient. You get a wonderful warm fire from a wood stove, and you save tons and tons of money on fuel costs, as far as oil or natural gas or electric heat, whatever. And you spend a little bit of money on gasoline and gasoline oil mix for your chainsaw, and a little bit of gasoline for the splitter, but other than that, hey, it's just labor, sweat equity. So again, thank you for watching, listening, and thank you for your support of our channel. Please like, subscribe, and share it with others. Thanks again.